There is growing bipartisan opposition to the Biden administration's plan to terminate Title 42. Now, this was the Trump era order that gives Border Patrol agents the power to turn away migrants on public health grounds. Now, on Thursday, Republican Senator James Langford of Oklahoma and Democratic Senator Kristen Sinema of Arizona introduced the Public Health and Border Security Act to prevent the administration from ending the Title 42 emergency authority until at least 60 days after the ending of the COVID-19 national emergency declaration. Now, similar legislation was introduced in the House by Representative Tony Gonzalez of Texas and Jared Golden of Maine, with Border Patrol officials planning for as many as 18,000 encounters a day once Title 42 is terminated in May 23rd. The question is, will the Biden administration reconsider, or will it continue to add fuel to the crisis at the southern border that has already been seeing record numbers of illegal immigrants crossing the border? Joining me now to talk about this is Ken Cuccinelli, former acting deputy secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, who has also served as the Attorney General for the state of Virginia. Ken, welcome back to the program.
Good to be with you, Tony.
All right, just in case we've talked about this a lot, but just let our viewers and listeners know what Title 42 is, what it does.
So Title 42 refers to the Public Health Code of federal law. And under that Title 42, CDC issued a border order in March of 2020 due to the COVID outbreak. And so at that point, most of the Department of Homeland Security dealing with border security, Border Patrol, ICE, and so forth, we were returning over 85% of illegal border crossers in under 2 hours using public health law, not immigration law. So same area, still the border, but it's a different legal basis. And literally in under 2 hours, it was an amazing logistical accomplishment. And one of the things, as bad as the Biden open borders policy has been, it may be shocking to some people, especially on our side, to learn over half of all illegal border crossers are still being returned to Mexico today under the Title 42 authority. So not only will taking it down dramatically increase the number of illegal border crossers, but the ones who are coming in today, more of them will be released into the country instead of removed from the country. It's a very dramatic change in an already overwhelmed border.
Of course, it was a policy driven by the pandemic, but it was also a useful tool in curbing illegal immigration into the country, which is why, to some degree, I think the Biden administration has hung on to it, because the underlying immigration policy that has been in place is not working. You know very well the capability and capacity of the Border Patrol on our southern border, our processing. What is this going to do to the system if we have such a huge influx? I mean, some are anticipating even 1 million more coming in over the next the 6 weeks after this is lifted.
Look, this is most people watching your show, Tony, think this is a terrible mistake and so forth. You have to remember, this is intentional policy by this president. That's why he picked Alejandro Mayorkas to be his Secretary of Homeland Security, because he is a vehement believer in open borders. And the policies, such as they are, that are being utilized on the border achieve the opposite of border security. If you know street cops in major cities, ask them the street price of drugs other than marijuana, because everything comes over that southern border now, everything. Whether it's fentanyl, heroin, meth, cocaine, you name it. And those prices have plummeted because it is so easy for the drug cartels to get their product across, because they use the same tactics and the same pipelines as they move the illegal aliens across. And by the way, they of course make big money off of moving those illegal aliens as well.
Well, maybe they
So-
should. Maybe the Biden administration should let them take care of their supply chain crisis, because they don't seem to have any problem getting the drugs across the border like
Nope.
we do, like they do with legitimate business transactions.
That's right.
Let's talk just for a moment. I mean, you've got a background in politics. You were elected as Attorney General of Virginia, ran for governor. We're seeing Democrats now come out opposed to the lifting of this policy. We have a midterm election coming up. Does that show that there is a fault line emerging within the Democratic Party over this issue of immigration?
So the fault line with their voters has been there since really last spring. I don't often put a lot of stock in polling, but Tony, self-identified Democrat voters have been overwhelmingly against this president's policies since last spring. So now we're approaching the election, and lo and behold, the elected officials are starting to ring the alarm bell. I know you have talked about Henry Cuellar and some of the other border Democrats. You mentioned Kristen Sinema from Arizona. They have, frankly, been speaking up before now. Mark Kelly, Democrat running for re-election in Arizona, is going to have very significant problems because of this. And he's trying to hedge his bets, but it's a little bit late for that. He should have been using his 51st Senate position to move budget dollars to actually force this administration to enforce the law on the border, but he has not done that. And he's going to be in trouble in this election, as are all the border Democrats.
Ken, we're up against a break, out of time. I want to sit down at some point and explore this question I want to ask you very quickly. That is, do you see a solution to the immigration crisis anytime in the near future?
Yes, but it has to come from the states, and that's going to take political courage on the part of Governors Doug Ducey and Greg Abbott. The states have constitutional authority to repel invasions. I don't think there's any serious question that our southern border is, all four of our border states are being invaded. I don't think the Democrat governors will buck this administration, but Governor Abbott and Governor Ducey should take their authority and use it responsibly and protect their states, and thereby protect America by turning people back at the border.
We'll explore that in greater detail later. Ken, always great to talk with you. Thanks so much for coming on today.
Good to be with you, Tony, as always.